In the heart of the Alaskan tundra, the sun is a ghost that hasn't risen for weeks. Here, the cold doesn't just bite, it preserves. It holds on to secrets that the earth is too frozen to bury. They call it the polar night, a 30-day funeral for the living. But for some, the darkness is a canvas. A place where beauty is carved from the frost and locked away in a tomb of glass. Detective Silas Vance hasn't slept in 3 days. The ghosts in his head won't let him. They whisper about the ones he couldn't save, their voices louder than the howling wind outside. But there is a new silence in town, a silence that smells of chemicals and old fur. Someone is watching the watchers. Someone who believes that life is just a messy precursor to a perfect, frozen stillness. The ice is cracked, and what's staring back from the depths isn't just a body, it's a message. And Silas is the only one left who knows how to read the language of the dead. Welcome to the midnight grave. The heater in the truck is screaming, but it can't touch the chill in my bones. The road to Anvil Lake is a white void, 100 miles of nothingness, paved with ice and regret. I've driven this path 1,000 times in my dreams, always chasing a shadow that disappears the moment I reach for it. Tonight, the shadow stayed put. The dispatch call was short. We found one, Silas. It's different this time. In this part of the world, different usually means worse. The wind hits like a physical blow. It's 40 below, the kind of cold that turns your blood to slush and makes your thoughts go brittle. I can see the sheriff's lights a mile out on the lake, a tiny, pathetic flicker against the infinite black. I step into the drifts, the snow crunching under my boots like breaking teeth. Every step is a reminder that I'm still here, and the girl I left behind in that warehouse 5 years ago isn't. I see the sheriff, Holloway. He's standing by the hole, his back to me. He doesn't move when I approach. He just stares down into the blue. He's a man who's seen 30 years of bar fights and hunting accidents, but right now, his shoulders are slumped like he's carrying the weight of the entire sky. He knows I'm here. He doesn't turn around. He just points. Look at the eyes, Silas, he whispers. She's still looking for something. I kneel. My knees crack. I shine the mag light into the abyss. At first, it's just blue. Then, the shapes take form. It's a woman. Young, maybe 20. She's naked, her skin the color of a winter moon. But it's not the nudity that stops my heart. It's the way she's positioned. She's not floating, she's standing. Her feet are weighted down, her arms reaching upward, fingers spread as if she's trying to catch a falling star. And her eyes, they aren't cloudy, they're clear, wide open, staring right through me. She's not a victim, she's an exhibit. Someone spent hours out here, in this wind, in this dark, just to get the angle right, to make sure she looked beautiful before the ice claimed her. I press my palm against the surface. It's smooth, too smooth. This wasn't a hole that froze over naturally. Someone polished it. Someone wanted us to see her. They wanted a witness. My breath hitches. For a second, I think I see her pupils dilate. But it's just the shadows playing tricks on a man who hasn't slept. The realization hits me harder than the cold. This isn't a crime scene, it's a gallery. I sweep the light toward the trees. The black pines look like jagged spears against the sky. Somewhere out there, he's watching. The man who did this, he's warm, he's dry, and he's waiting for me to say something, to acknowledge his masterpiece. I feel a sudden, violent urge to scream, but the air is too thin, the cold too heavy. I just stand there, a tired man in a vast, dark world, realizing that the polar night has just begun. The extraction is a slow, mechanical surgery on the earth itself. The crane groans under the weight of the ice block, a frozen coffin that refuses to yield. Holloway stands beside me, his breath hitching every time the chains clank. We aren't just moving a body, we're moving a monument. The town of Oakhaven is only 5 miles away, but tonight it feels like it's on another planet. A planet where the sun never rose and the dead never slept. The hum of the engine is the only thing keeping my head from spinning off its axis. I keep seeing those eyes, clear as a summer day, trapped in a winter grave. It's not just the cold that keeps them that way. It's intent. Someone wanted her to see us finding her. I can feel the weight of the case file sitting on the passenger seat like a lead brick. 5 years of failure, and now this. The ice is talking, and I'm terrified of what it's going to say next. Oakhaven doesn't welcome you. It tolerates you. It's a town built on timber and grit, now slowly being swallowed by the frost. Tonight, the shadows seem longer, reaching out from the alleyways to touch the tires of my truck. People are behind those locked doors, huddled near heaters, unaware that the darkness has finally invited something inside. Something that doesn't need a key. "I've never seen anything like it, Silas," Kovic says. Her voice is sharp as a scalpel. She doesn't look at me, only at the thawing face beneath the ice. The preservation, it's professional, almost clinical. I lean in, the smell of melting pond water and old chemicals filling my lungs. "How long has she been in there?" I ask. She finally looks up, her eyes narrowing behind her glasses. "Longer than the lake has been frozen, Silas. That's the problem." "She didn't drown, Silas. Look at the thread. This wasn't a murder. It was a reconstruction. The room feels like it's shrinking. That silver thread, I've seen it before. Not in a crime scene, but in a shop window. A place where things that are dead are made to look like they're just resting." My heart hammers against my ribs. I'm thinking of Arthur Penhaligon, the man with the steady hands and the quiet shop on the edge of town. The man who everyone calls a genius with a needle. The red neon light bleeds into the snow like a fresh wound. It's 2 a.m, but there's a light on in the back. Arthur doesn't sleep much either, or so the rumors say. He's the man Oakhaven goes to when they want to keep a piece of the wild on their mantle. I step out of the truck, the cold air hitting my lungs like a warning. I'm not here as a friend tonight. I'm here as a hunter. The shop is silent, except for the rhythmic scritch, scritch of the needle through leather. Arthur doesn't turn when the door chimes. He doesn't even flinch. He just continues his work, his movements precise and graceful. The air is thick, with a scent of sawdust and formaldehyde. It's a place where time stops, where death is just a canvas waiting for a master's touch. "You're out late, Silas," Arthur says, his voice as smooth as silk. He sets the needle down on a velvet cloth. He doesn't look guilty. He looks satisfied. I don't move from the door. "We found a girl in the lake, Arthur. She had your handiwork around her neck." The smile on his face doesn't vanish. It grows. "Beauty is a heavy burden, Silas. Most people just don't know how to carry it." He isn't denying it. He's inviting me to look closer. "You talk about beauty, Arthur, but all I see is a girl who'll never breathe again." I growl. The air in here is getting thinner, poisoned by the smell of his chemicals. Arthur doesn't flinch. He just inspects the needle's tip. "Breathing is temporary, Silas. Art is forever. You, of all people, should understand the desire to keep something from slipping away." He's digging into the wound. He knows about the girl I lost 5 years ago. He's not just a suspect. He's a mirror. The cold hits my face, and for the first time in an hour, I can breathe. But the air tastes like ash. I didn't arrest him. I couldn't. A silver thread isn't a smoking gun, not in a town where half the population sews their own boots. But I felt it. That hum of madness coming off him like heat from a stove. He's waiting for me to make a move. He's turned the whole town into his gallery, and I'm just the critic he's been waiting for. Back at the station, the silence is even louder. Young Miller is still there, his eyes bloodshot from staring at digital ghosts. He's only been on the force a year. He still thinks the law is a shield. He doesn't realize yet that in Alaska, the law is just a thin line of salt against an encroaching tide of ice. He looks up as I walk in, his face pale. I found her name, Silas. It's Maya Thorne. Her father's been calling every day for 6 months. Maya Thorne. I repeat the name, and it feels like a curse. I remember the father now, Elias, an old miner who lost his wife to the mountains and his soul to the bottle. Does he know? I ask. Ben shakes his head, his lower lip trembling just a fraction. I didn't have the heart to tell him over the phone. I grab my keys. Good, because a man shouldn't hear his world has ended from a machine. Get in the truck, Miller. It's time to face the wreckage. The Thorne place is a graveyard of rusted machinery and broken dreams. It sits on the edge of the forest, where the trees grow so thick the wind can't even scream. We pull up, the engine clicking as it cools. Miller is quiet now, his hand resting on the door handle but not moving. He's terrified. He should be. There's no training manual for telling a father his daughter has been turned into a statue. Elias doesn't ask, "Is she okay?" He just looks at my eyes and he knows. The lantern in his hand shakes, casting long, frantic shadows across the porch. "Where?" he rasps. His voice sounds like grinding stones. "Anvil Lake. "Elias, we found her tonight," I say, keeping my voice as steady as I can. He doesn't cry. He just stares out into the dark forest, his face hardening into something ancient and cold. I told her not to go near the woods. I told her the shadow was hungry. I step inside, my eyes scanning the room out of habit. It's a mess, but my gaze stops on the table. Wood carvings, beautiful ones. And right next to them, a set of tools. They aren't for wood. They're surgical grade. The same kind I saw on Arthur's bench. My stomach does a slow roll. Elias isn't just a grieving father. He's a craftsman. I look at him, still standing in the doorway, and for a second the victim and the monster start to look the same in this flickering light. The photo is old, faded, but the silver thread around her neck in the picture is unmistakable. Maya didn't get that thread in the lake. She was already wearing it. And she was smiling. My breath catches. The gallery has more than one artist. She's wearing it, Elias. The same silver thread we found in the ice. Who gave this to her? I demand. My voice is a low rasp, cutting through the smell of stale wood smoke. Elias sinks into a chair, the wood groaning under his weight. "The Birdman," he whispers. "He said it would keep her soul from wandering. He said it was a tether to the earth." My blood turns to slush. The Birdman. That's what the local kids call Arthur Penhaligon. This wasn't a sudden abduction. This was a slow harvest. Arthur didn't just kill her. He groomed her for the display. He gave her the necklace years ago, a promise of what was to come. I look at Elias, broken and shivering, and I wonder how many other gifts are walking around Oakhaven right now. The silver thread isn't just a signature, it's a countdown. Every girl in this town wearing a trinket from Arthur is a masterpiece in waiting. I need to get back to the station. I need to know who else has been visited by the Birdman. Miller hasn't said a word. He's staring at the dark pines passing by, probably wondering if any of them are hiding another hole in the ice. I can't blame him. The more we learn, the more the forest seems to shrink around us. We aren't just looking for a killer anymore. We're looking for a cult of one. Arthur Penhaligon isn't just a taxidermist. He's a gardener, and the girls of Oakhaven are his winter lilies. The road back to town is blocked by a fresh drift. We have to take the long way, past the Blackwood Trail. It's a place people avoid after the sun goes down, which, lately, is all the time. The fog here is different. It's thick, smelling of pine needles and damp earth. I slow the truck down. My headlights catch something. A trail of prints. Fresh. Someone didn't get the memo about staying indoors. In Oakhaven, a solo walk in the woods isn't exercise. It's an invitation. I kill the engine. The silence is immediate, heavy as a shroud. Miller reaches for his radio, but I put a hand on his arm. No noise. I step out, the snow crunching under my weight. The prints are deep, heavy, someone carrying a load. I sweep the light across the tree line. The fog swallows the beam after 10 feet, but for a split second, I see it. A flash of red, just a speck against the monochrome dark. It's a scrap of a flannel shirt, red and black. The same pattern Elias was wearing. My heart skips a beat. Did he leave the shack before we did? No, that's impossible. We were right there. I reach out to touch it, but the wind shifts, and a new scent hits me. It's not pine. It's formaldehyde. The chemical sting is unmistakable. He's here, right now, in the white noise of the blizzard. "Miller, stay by the truck," I hiss. I don't wait for an answer. I move into the tree line, my gun leading the way. Every shadow looks like a man, every branch like a reaching hand. The taxidermy shop was a fortress, but out here, Arthur is a ghost. He knows these woods like the back of his hand. He knows which trees can hide a body and which ones can hide a hunter. I turn, but there's only the mist. Then, a low melodic whistle drifts through the trees. It's a lullaby. The same one Elias said Arthur used to sing to Maya. He's not hiding. He's leading me. The whistle isn't coming from a man. It's coming from the wind through the trees, or my own fracturing mind. I push through the brush, the branches clawing at my parka. Every step away from the truck feels like a step toward a ledge. I can't hear Miller anymore. I can't hear the engine, just the rhythmic thumping of my heart and that damn lullaby. It's a trap, Silas. You know it's a trap. But in this darkness, the only way out is through. I stop dead. The flashlight beam trembles, hanging from the spruce branches are sparrows, 6 of them. They aren't just dead. They've been mounted, stitched with that same silver thread. They're like macabre Christmas ornaments left for a god who stopped listening. This is his trail, his breadcrumbs. Arthur isn't hiding. He's hosting. He's showing me the evolution of his craft, from the small and fragile to the human. The trail ends at the base of a cliff, a wall of ice that looks like a frozen scream. Behind a curtain of icicles, there's a throat in the rock, a mouth that leads into the belly of the mountain. The chemical smell is a physical wall here. It's formaldehyde and something else, something sweet, like rotting lilies. My flashlight is dying, the batteries drained by the impossible cold. I have to go in. The girl in the lake was just the cover of the book. The story is down there. It's warmer in here, but it's a sick kind of warmth. The air is heavy, wet. My eyes are burning from the lack of sleep and the fumes. I keep seeing things in the corners of the ice, faces that aren't there, hands reaching out from the frost. I tell myself it's the insomnia. I tell myself I'm still in control. But then the light hits the center of the chamber, and the lies I tell myself shatter like glass. There isn't just one. There's a collection. 3 more girls, lost to the years, preserved in blocks of pristine ice. They look like they're waiting for a bus that's never coming. They aren't just bodies. They're masterpieces of patience. Arthur didn't just kill them. He stopped their clocks. He took their time and turned it into a static, beautiful eternity. I feel a sudden, violent nausea. Oakhaven hasn't been losing girls. It's been building a museum. The middle block is empty. It's waiting. And on the ledge next to it, I see them. The scissors, the thread, and a small, laminated photo. It's not a girl. It's me. A photo of me from the day I arrived in Oakhaven. The Birdman isn't done. He's been waiting for a partner, a witness, or perhaps a final piece. Do you like the lighting, Silas? It took me months to find the right vein of ice, Arthur says. His voice doesn't echo. The ice swallows it whole. I level the gun at his chest, my hands finally steady. It ends here, Arthur. I'm taking you in. He chuckles, a dry, rattling sound. You think I'm the architect? I'm just the curator, Silas. Look at the stitches. Look at the hands that held the needle. I look because I have to. The initials are tiny, etched into the silver. S.K. Sarah Kovic, the medical examiner. The woman who told me the ice was the problem. My radio crackles to life. It's Miller. He's screaming. But he's not screaming for help. He's screaming my name. And I can hear Sarah's voice in the background, calm and clinical. Put the needle down, Arthur. Now! My voice echoes off the ice, sharp as a gunshot. Arthur doesn't move. He just watches me with those calm, analytical eyes. You think I'm the monster, Silas? I'm the preservative. Sarah, she's the one who performs the extraction. She's the one who decides who's worth keeping. The gun feels like it weighs 100 pounds. My world is tilting. The only person I trusted in this town is the one who's been sewing the shrouds. Miller! Ben, come in. Do you copy? Static. Then a wet, choking sound. Miller's voice comes through, small and terrified. Silas, she said it was time for my preservation. Then the line goes dead. I feel a coldness that has nothing to do with the ice around me. They have him. And I'm miles away, trapped in a hole in the ground with a madman who calls himself an artist. I don't think. I just move. I slam him into the ice, the frozen girl behind him staring through the back of his head. Where is she? Where did she take him? I roar. Arthur just smiles, a thin line of blood appearing on his lip where he hit the ice. To the clinic, Silas. To the basement. That's where the real work happens. But you won't make it. The snow. It wants you to stay here. I leave him there. I should pull the trigger. End it now. But I can't. Not yet. I need him to lead me to the others. I scramble through the dark, my breath coming in jagged bursts. My lungs feel like they're filled with crushed glass. Every second I spend in this cave is a second Miller loses. The insomnia, the cold, the betrayal, it's all a fog. I have to break through. I have to reach the clinic before Sarah turns my partner into another piece of her collection. Oakhaven is a town of secrets, but the clinic is its heart. A cold, mechanical heart that beats with the rhythm of a ventilator. In the basement, away from the prying eyes of the living, Sarah Kovic is waiting. She spent years looking at the dead, studying the way they fall apart. Now, she's finally found a way to make them stay together, and Miller is the next subject on her table. Sarah doesn't look like a killer. She looks like a scholar, methodical, precise. She believes she's performing an act of mercy to To her, the human body is a flawed vessel, prone to decay and disappointment. By removing the soul and replacing it with silver and ice, she thinks she's granting immortality. She's not just a doctor anymore. She's a sculptor of the afterlife. Ben is paralyzed, not by fear, but by the sedative she injected. He can see everything, but he can't even blink. He watches the needle. He watches her smile. The preservation has already begun. I push the pedal to the floor, the tires screaming for grip on the black ice, the truck fishtails, the steering wheel fighting me like a living thing. I'm coming for her. I'm coming for all of them. But as I look at the dashboard, I see the radio light flickering. A new voice crackles through the speaker. It's not Miller. It's not Sarah. It's Sheriff Holloway. Silas, where are you? We have a problem at the clinic. Don't go in alone. Is he warning me, or is he calling me to the slaughter? The tires bite into the frozen slush, the truck groaning as I throw it into park. Holloway's cruiser is already here, a silent, dark shape in the swirling snow. My heart is a frantic bird, trapped in a cage of ribs. I don't wait for the radio. I don't wait for backup. There is no backup in a town where the doctors are the butchers and the sheriffs speak in riddles. Holloway doesn't move as I approach. He looks like a statue carved from the cold itself. "She's down there, Silas," he says, his voice barely a whisper against the wind. "She's been down there for an hour." I level my gaze at him, the gun heavy in my hand. "Why didn't you stop her, Bill? Why are you just standing here?" He finally looks at me, and his eyes are hollowed-out craters of grief. "Because some things, Silas, some things are too beautiful to break." The clinic is a hollow ribcage, and we are moving deep into its belly. The smell of bleach is so thick I can taste it on my tongue. Every flickering light is a heartbeat. Every creak of the floorboards a confession. Holloway's footsteps behind me are heavy, rhythmic, like a funeral drum. I keep my weapon up, my thumb on the safety. I don't trust the air, I don't trust the walls, and I certainly don't trust the man at my back. The door gives way with a metallic scream. Darkness spills out from the stairwell, cold and damp. It smells like the vault in the woods. Formaldehyde and old stagnant ice. I start the descent, one hand on the railing, the other white-knuckled around my Glock. Holloway stays at the top for a moment, silhouetted against the hall light, before he slowly follows me into the mouth of the beast. She doesn't even look up when I enter. The room is a sanctuary of cold perfection. Sarah's movements are a ballet of steel and thread. She's focused on Ben's wrist, her needle dipping in and out of the skin with a terrifying grace. The silver thread glows under the surgical light, a thin, shimmering line of eternity. She's not killing him. She's editing him, removing the messy parts of life to make room for the silence. Miller is still there. Somewhere behind those paralyzed eyes, he's screaming, but his body is already a statue. The preservation is nearly complete. "Back away from him, Sarah. Now!" I scream, my voice cracking under the pressure. Sarah stops. She sighs, a soft, weary sound, and turns to face me. "You're early, Silas. I wanted you to see him when he was finished. He would have been my masterpiece. No more fear, no more doubt. Just stillness." She looks at the gun like it's a primitive toy. "You can't stop the winter, Silas. You can only decide how you'll be remembered when it ends." The click of the hammer behind my ear is louder than any explosion. My blood turns to ice. I don't turn around. I don't have to. Holloway's voice is steady now, devoid of the grief I saw outside. "Drop the gun, Silas." Sarah's right. The world is too loud, too messy. It's time we all got some sleep. I'm caught in the crosshairs of a town that has finally decided it's tired of living. "Don't make this harder than it has to be, Silas." Holloway's voice is a low, gravelly vibration against the base of my skull. It's the same voice that guided me through my first day in Oakhaven. Sarah is doing what's necessary. This town, it's dying. We're just making sure the best parts of it stay beautiful. The betrayal isn't a shock. It's a cold, heavy blanket. I'm not just surrounded by enemies. I'm surrounded by a philosophy of death. "You see a victim, Silas. I see a legacy," Sarah says. Her voice is smooth as a polished stone. She turns back to Miller, her needle hovering over his jugular. "Ben was going to be a hero. Now he'll be an icon. A boy who never grew old, never got tired, never saw the light fade from the world." Why would you want to stop that? Why would you want him to decay like everyone else? She's not lying. She truly believes She's the one holding the cure for time itself. 5 years. 5 years of waking up in a cold sweat, reaching for a hand that wasn't there. I couldn't save her in that warehouse. The guilt is the only thing that's been preserving me. And now they're offering to take it away, to turn me into a piece of their frozen gallery. For a split second, the uykusuzluk, the insomnia, whispers that it would be easy to just let go, to stop fighting the wind. But then I see Miller's tear. It's not frozen yet. It's still salt and water. It's still life. I drop the Glock. The sound of it hitting the tiles is the distraction I need. I spin, not away from the danger, but into it. My elbow connects with Holloway's jaw, the impact jarring my own arm. His gun barks, a deafening roar in the small room, and a chunk of the ceiling explodes into plaster dust. The mask of the sheriff slips. For the first time, I see the fear in his eyes. He's not a statue. He's just an old man who's afraid of the dark. We hit the floor hard. The surgical lamp is hit, swinging back and forth, turning the room into a strobe light of noir nightmares. Holloway is strong, fueled by a desperate kind of madness, but I have 5 years of repressed rage. I pin his wrists, the metal of his badge digging into my chest. I can see Sarah coming. She is not running. She's gliding, a scalpel in her hand, glinting like a shard of ice. She's coming to finish the work she started. Sarah watches us like a scientist, watching 2 insects in a jar. There is no anger in her, only a cold, efficient desire to restore order. To her, this struggle is just more mess. More noise to be silenced. She waits for the lamp to swing back, her eyes tracking the movement of my throat. She doesn't see me as a man. I'm just a project that needs to be filed away, a piece of art that's resisting the frame. I use my boot to sweep the tray. A dozen silver needles and steel scalpels become a hail of shrapnel. Sarah flinches, the clinical mask finally breaking as she shields her eyes. It's the opening I need. I throw Holloway off me and dive for the Glock. My fingers find the cold steel. I roll, the floor cold against my shoulder, and bring the weapon up. The room goes still. The lamp slows its swing. The silence is broken by a new sound. The slow, rhythmic creak of the heavy steel door. I don't turn my head, but I see him in my peripheral vision. Arthur, the taxidermist. He didn't stay in the cave. He's standing there, the shotgun leveled, not at me, and not at Sarah. He's looking at the collection, at the girls in the jars, at the silver thread. You were never meant to touch the living, Sarah. Arthur's voice is a low, mournful bell. You've ruined the silence. The dead are sacred, Sarah. Arthur's voice is a low, vibrating hum, colder than the ice outside. They are finished. They are perfect. But you bring the noise of the living into my silence. You invite the law into our sanctuary. He doesn't look at me. He doesn't look at Holloway. His eyes are fixed on Sarah, his gaze a judgment from a God who only loves what doesn't move. Your silence is a tomb, Arthur, Sarah spits back, her clinical mask replaced by a feverish intensity. I'm not just preserving, I'm perfecting. I'm stopping the pain before it starts. Ben is the first of many, a town of statues that can still feel the frost. That's true art. She's gone past madness. She's reached a place where the needle is a scepter, and the clinic is her kingdom. Holloway sees the end coming. He's caught between 2 fanatics, a man of the law who sold his soul for a quiet life, only to find that the price was a front row seat to hell. His hand trembles as he reaches for the steel. He isn't aiming at me anymore. He's just aiming for a way out of the room. 3 monsters in a basement. One loves the dead, one loves the dying, and one just wants to forget. I'm the only thing in this room that still remembers what a heartbeat sounds like. My thumb is on the safety. I have 4 rounds left. 2 for them. 1 for the lock on Miller's restraints. And 1 for me if the door doesn't open. The uykusuzluk is gone. There's only the cold, sharp clarity of the hunt. I move when the lamp reaches its peak. I dive for the table, my fingers fumbling with the heavy leather straps holding Miller down. The smell of the sedative is thick, cloying. Wake up, Ben, I hiss, but his eyes are just empty windows. Behind me, I hear the click of the shotgun. Arthur has made his choice. He didn't shoot her, he shot the work. The glass shatters, and the air turns into poison. The formaldehyde and the ether mix into a choking yellow haze. It burns the lungs, turns the eyes to fire. In the chaos, the hierarchy of the room collapses. The perfect gallery is being dissolved by its own preservatives. I can hear Sarah screaming, not in pain, but in rage, her masterpieces shattering on the floor. Holloway is coughing, a wet, rattling sound that tells me his time is up. We are all drowning in the very things meant to keep us forever. I get the last strap loose. Miller is a dead weight, his skin cold as the ice on Anvil Lake. I heave him onto my shoulder, my own legs buckling under the strain. I can't see the door. I can't see Arthur. I can only hear the sound of breaking glass and the frantic, rhythmic whistling of the wind through the basement vents. Arthur isn't trying to escape. He's standing there, welcoming the poison. To him, this is the final preservation, the ultimate silence. He looks like one of his own mounts, frozen, dignified, and utterly hollow. He's achieved his masterpiece, a world where nothing moves, nothing breathes, and nothing hurts anymore. As the fog swallows him, he looks almost at peace. She's not leaving. She's becoming part of the exhibit. My lungs scream as I hit the stairs. The midnight grave is closing its lid. I pull him through the drifts, my boots sinking deep into the frozen earth. The air behind us is a toxic cocktail, a yellow haze that's turning the clinic into a mausoleum. My lungs are on fire, every breath a jagged blade of ice. Miller is a dead weight on my shoulder, his skin the color of a winter moon. I don't look back. In Oakhaven, looking back is how you get turned into a statue. I heave him into the seat, his head lolling against the glass. He's cold, too cold. I slam the door, the sound echoing across the empty parking lot like a gunshot. The clinic is silent now, the flickering light in the basement windows, the only sign of the madness we left behind. I scramble to the driver's side, my fingers fumbling with the keys. The midnight grave is trying to keep us here, but I'm not ready to be an exhibit. The heater is on full blast, but it feels like blowing air into a freezer. The highway is a white tunnel, the trees passing by like the ribs of some giant dead beast. I keep glancing at Ben. He hasn't blinked. He hasn't breathed. The sedative Sarah used was meant to mimic death, to prepare the canvas. I'm driving toward the nearest hospital 2 counties away, but deep down, I know the frost has already moved in. The basement finally gave way. The chemicals, the oxygen, the heat, it all decided to stop pretending. A dull thud vibrates through the floor of the truck. I see the flash in the rearview mirror. Sarah, Arthur, Holloway, they're all part of the silence now. They wanted eternity, and the mountain just gave it to them in the form of a concrete tomb. Is it over? The artists are gone, but the gallery is still here. This whole town is built on the bones of girls who wore silver threads. I can still feel Arthur's eyes on me, judging my imperfections. The Uikusuz look is coming back, but it's different now. It's not a haunting, it's a vigil. I'm the last one left who knows the names of the statues. If I close my eyes, the silence wins, and I can't let the silence win. I reach over to check Ben's pulse again, and then I see it. The silver thread. It's not just metal, it's pulsing. A slow, rhythmic blue glow, like a heartbeat made of neon and ice. It wasn't just a signature, it's a parasite. Sarah didn't just stitch him, she changed him. I had to stop. I couldn't be in that cab with whatever he's becoming. I stand in the middle of the road, the hazard lights blinking like a dying heart. Cundred blesh, red, flash, red. The silence of the forest is absolute. No birds, no wind, just the sound of my own ragged breathing. I'm 40 miles from help, and I'm carrying a masterpiece that won't stay dead. The radio on my belt hisses. It should be dead. The battery was fried miles ago, but a voice comes through the white noise. It's not Holloway. It's Maya Thorne, the girl from the lake. Silas, she whispers, the sound like dry leaves on ice. The frost is only the beginning. Don't let him wake up. I look at the passenger seat. Ben's eyes are moving. The midnight grave isn't a place you leave. It's a place you take with you. The voice on the radio, it wasn't a hallucination. It was a frequency. The frequency of the frost. I look at my hands and they're shaking, but not from the cold. I've spent my life trying to keep the dark at bay, trying to wake people up from the nightmare. But Oakhaven is the nightmare that won't let you leave. The clinic is gone, but the art remains. It's in the air, in the snow, and now it's in the man I called my partner. Ben's eyes are open, but the boy I knew is gone. There is no fear left in him, only the cold, blue light of the preservation. He isn't waking up. He's coming online. Ben? Ben, can you hear me? My voice is a whisper, a prayer in a dead language. Miller doesn't turn his head. His voice, when it comes, is a chorus of 1,000 cracks in the ice. The silence is beautiful, Silas. Why are you still shouting? I thumb the safety. My heart is a drum, but my hands are finally, terrifyingly still. I see it. A thin, silver line, right where the collar of my parka meets my skin. It wasn't the cave. It wasn't the clinic. It was the insomnia. The shaking wasn't fatigue. It was the thread taking root. Sarah didn't need to kidnap me. She just needed me to stay awake long enough for the frost to find its way in. I'm not the hunter anymore. I'm the latest acquisition. The gun feels heavy, useless. I let it fall to the floorboards. The fear that has been my shadow for 5 years simply evaporates. The cold isn't biting anymore. It's comforting, like a heavy blanket at the end of a long, impossible day. Ben is right. The silence is beautiful. It's the only thing in this world that doesn't lie. I put the truck in drive. The tires grip the ice with a perfect silent grace. We don't need a hospital. We don't need the law. We are headed back to the lake, to the place where the masterpiece began. There is an empty block of ice waiting for me, and for the first time in my life, I know exactly where I belong. The highway disappears. The world disappears. There is only the white. A clean, sterile, eternal canvas. Oakhaven will wake up tomorrow, if tomorrow ever comes, and find its streets empty, its secrets buried under a foot of fresh powder. They'll look for the trooper and the officer, but they won't find any tracks. The midnight grave doesn't leave traces. It only leaves perfection. The polar night is finally absolute. Down in the deep blue, the gallery is growing. 100 clear eyes staring up at a sky they no longer need. The silver threads are all humming now, a symphony of stillness that drowns out the wind. Every girl, every man, every perfect moment is locked away where time can't touch them. The extraction is complete. The preservation is total. Alaska isn't a state, it's a vault, and the key has been thrown into the dark. I'm finally asleep, Sarah, and the dream is magnificent. Closing, blow, asterisk. Asterisk. The screen fades to a flat, cold blue. The sound of a needle through silk is the last thing you hear.